ask and you shall receive, right? Last week I posted a video about Uryu's combos with the previous patch, saying like, hey, I hope they're listening. I hope they're still updating the game. Lo and behold, new patch is out, ranked is out, and there's a bunch of changes to some of our favorite characters, including Uryu, which we will definitely go over. But it's just good to see game getting a proper update. It's good to see the game getting ranked match and just life being invigorated into the game. There's definitely more people online, like playing online now than there was pre-patch, because pre-patch it was like a ghost town. Now it's like, it feels like no matter what time of the day that I turn Bleach on, I can just find someone online. Now, connection, netcode, that's a whole different thing. But for now, yeah, we'll kind of take what you can get. So patch 1.10, right? So there's a few general changes. They use different verbiage each time for what they're talking about, or different wording. But when they say rebirth action, they mean the reverse actions, right? So when you yellow burst, when you white burst, when you blue burst, they basically slightly increase the range for the burst itself, like the wind or hitbox, you can call it, of the burst now goes a little farther. Now pretty much everybody can do a combo after grab, right? This is a buff for Uryu, because we know from last time, for Uryu to combo off after a grab, you either had to do meaty arrows or you had to waste meter, which was both not great options. I mean, obviously if you hit someone with the meaty arrows and then they were, they got caught, then you got free damage, but otherwise. So guard gauge is now harder to break, although for certain characters this still isn't an issue. Also, for your blue burst, you get more guard back. So blue burst is purely about like stopping someone's hit string, either whether they're hitting you or whether they're hitting you with a block string. It's like you blue burst and now like your guard gauge comes back a little faster, and then now there's less time for between like when you're taking guard pressure and when your guard break begins, right? For characters like Yamamoto, this is an Aizen. This is a really good thing. This is also a slight buff to Aizen, because one of his supers basically gives him insane super armor, and the only thing that you can do is he can't be caught in hit stun, meaning like you hit him and then his guard gauge goes down until he hits guard break. But now that it's harder to hit guard break, this is a slight buff to Aizen, emphasis on slight. This reduced the scaling on your yellow burst, basically making it easier to do more damage off of yellow burst combos, which unfortunately will not be too big of a deal for Uryu for a reason that we'll cover in a bit. They implemented a cooldown after you do level 1 or level 2. So there's a cooldown to where you won't get yellow meter after a certain amount of time, unless you're bursting at some point after that level 1 or level 2, then the cooldown goes away. So if you burst like white burst, you immediately start recovering spiritual pressure gauge. It'll ignore the cooldown. But if you use another level 1 while you're still in burst mode, like yellow burst mode or white burst mode, let's say, then the cooldown will trigger again. And then they also made it easier for people to perfect parry into combos. So that's like the animation where someone, like where you do the flash step parry, where you go behind someone. For some cases, like characters could not convert off of that. So now it's like, more characters will be able to convert off of that. I'm not going to go over every single character. I'm only going to go over the characters or the changes that are most important to me, because I don't know every character yet. Like, I don't know how these changes change the character. I do know that for Bunkai Ichigo, that for their spiritual pressure move 2, their combo, like they get more intense combo scaling when they do spiritual pressure move 2. So now, although before they were able to get like 60 hits and then like do it all over again, now it's like the combo scaling is going to make sure that you're not fucking getting 0 to death off of just one super. Also, because they increase the gauge cost for each move. So what his spiritual pressure move 2 does is that it makes his moves more convertible into each other. But when you do a certain move, like his projectile gets changed so that less recovery on it. When you did that, it used meter, like this little gauge that is unique to Ichigo's level 2. And now it's gonna take more gauge to do that, which means he's going to get less hits in one combo. So Uryu, right? The very first thing that they did, right? So they universally made burst a lot better. And you want to know the very first thing that they did with Uryu as soon as they implemented that buff is they made it so both his level 1 and his level 2, level 1 and his level 2 cannot use burst. You cannot burst combo with his level 1 or level 2 anymore, which is insane. That was his best conversion off of like anything. And now it's like, we already weren't using level 2 much. we were already using level 2 sparingly, and now you're making it even worse. Because it's like, the best way to use level 2 with Uryu is when you can telegraph that something is going to hit you, which means the best way to use it is like some kind of projectile, some kind of like leaping normal, like Ukiura or Grimmjow, or even this new Ichigo. I don't know, man. And then the follow-up flash step attack, they increase the stun time. So guess what you also can't do in Reawakening? You can no longer restart the combo, like you can no longer combo loop off of the flash step follow-up, which I have mixed feelings about, because it's like, you can argue like, oh, well, it was a loop, but it was a loop that required meter. So is it really a loop? Because if I start doing it and then you get 2 bars now, and now you can blue burst, I still used up all my meter, but you're safe now. So if a infinite or combo in this game requires meter, then it's not an infinite. Yeah, sure, it can loop into itself, but it's not an infinite. It's not like I'm gonna always be in a situation where I can hit it. It's not like Kai and Shiba's, where it was just like triangle, then triangle, then triangle, then triangle. So, man, I really don't like this change, but I understand why they did it, but I don't agree with it, because I don't think that was a good idea. So Awakening, this is going to be a buff right here. So his flash attack, which means like when he just shoots the arrow, now goes longer range. So now what we were complaining about the last video, or in the last update, was that Uryu still had no real benefit off of going into his first awakening. There was no change in his character. What I will say now is that, you know, you're gonna play base Uryu and you're gonna be fighting someone, and then you're going to awaken, and with base Uryu you're gonna run into the fact that like your arrows only go a certain distance, and you're going to see your opponent stop reacting to you shooting an arrow when they're at a certain range, because they don't think that they're gonna get hit, and then you go awakening and then they start to get hit by it because they've underestimated the range of it now. I do like that. I do like that, because now that kind of mixes up, like now you kind of have to know like, okay, Uryu gets longer range on his arrows, come awakening, boom, real easy. And that also makes it so when you like tech a grab, base Uryu can't do anything after that. Like you have to either inch forward, or your opponent has to inch forward, and then you can press arrows. Whereas Awakening Uryu, somebody techs a grab, then you're at the perfect range to hit them with arrow. So now you can hit someone with arrow after a grab tech, which is pretty nice. So now there's some Reawakening changes. So the special flash attack, because it's a charge move, that's why it says various, now it says decrease the stun time. So for example, we'll follow up Ho-Ho or with flash step, it says increase the stun time, right? So when it says increase stun time, that means increase the recovery frames after the move is done. So for the special flash attack, they decrease the recovery frames of that move. Here's the thing, the move is still like his slowest move. It's a really fucking slow move because it goes full screen, right? Because that's the trade-off. It's really slow, but it goes full screen, and on hit, if you're ready, you can press flash step, and then Uryu will do the flash step attack for you, which is all right. You're not using it much. You can convert off of it still in certain ways, especially during Reawakening, where Reawakening has the most amount of conversions because his arrows work differently, some of his timings work differently. So yeah, you will have more chances to convert in Reawakening, but this is still like, it's a buff that doesn't really matter. Like, sure, I'll take it, but it doesn't really matter. So while you're in Reawakening only, for some reason, your level 1 has a longer range. I don't know how much this really helps, because from my testing, it doesn't seem to change anything. I mean, for this to be a big deal, it would have to mean that Uryu gets like a combo or something that he didn't get before, or like he gets to punish people in a way that he didn't before. I don't think either of those are the case. I could be mistaken, but I don't think either of those are the case, because if someone really has an advantage over you, you're not getting to Reawakening. You're just not. His level 2, they increase the damage, right? They're trying to incentivize us to use it. I still don't think it's a good move. And then his Kikon move, the Hakugeki, right? Your drive impact basically increase the stun time, which means essentially it has more recovery frames. So if you whiff it, you're gonna just be sitting there for longer, as if Uryu wasn't bad enough. Now, don't get me wrong, Reawakening's a great character, but as I said before, it's the character before Reawakening that we're really worried about, because once you get to Reawakening, it's either the very end of the game or you're close to winning anyways. So now it's like Uryu's combo lines are a lot more linear, but now he has more chances to get guaranteed damage. or to like put you into weirder situations. It's not great. I don't like it, and I don't like that. Even with level 2, that was just like a pity. That is just like you just hate the character because you know level 2 isn't good. You know it's not good, and then you nerf it even more for what? For I can't do anything after it because you want me to do slightly more damage? Like that's so, I don't know. That's so bad. So Uryu comes out of this patch a different character. It's like you have to change up the way that you play the character now. Is like twice as mandatory, especially in the early game, because now it's like you're just trying to get to Awakening 1. And then once you're in Awakening 1, it's not like you can use Yellow Bursts all that often anyway, unless you're going for Soul Break and you have the ability to convert your 2 bars into a guaranteed kill. It's just better to go White Burst because you're just getting more out of it. You just have to time your burst correctly so that you're not accidentally getting one of the other 2 bursts. And then in Reawakening now, he's basically lost his high damage combos. He can only do about 7,000 at most, so he can't go from like full health to red bar anymore. And even if he could, he wouldn't be able to do Keycon move after you get to red bar. He'd have to start up a new combo to get there. And it's just really frustrating how much they're nerfing a character like Uryu, despite him not having all that much to begin with. Like they think Reawakening's so good that it just, I don't know, they feel the need to nerf it. But yeah, this is apparently Tamsoft's and Bandai's vision for the game. That's what this patch is kind of is. It's like this is this is how they intended the characters to work, but I don't know, that still sounds a little bullshit to me. So for even here, right, and this is like the funniest part to me, right? So adjustment intent: Uryu Ishida fights without letting the opponent get close due to his excellent reach, although his operation has quirks. This is in a perfect world, Uryu fights without his opponent getting close, because you can actually do enough damage to keep him away for long enough so that you don't have to keep guessing. You only need to guess like once or twice with full meter, and then that's it. Whereas now your opponent is going to have a lot more opportunities to get in on you, and it's not going to be pretty. So look at this. However, the restrictions on neutral were heavy, and there was a long time when it was difficult to move the battle situation. None of these changes changed that fact. So they recognized Uryu's problem here. They did nothing to change it. They made level 2 worse. They made level 1 worse. All they did to help his neutral was increase the range of his flash attack in his Awakening 1. Because in Reawakening, that wasn't an issue. The arrows go pretty far in Reawakening. It's only base Uryu where that's an issue. So they gave him one thing. It's like, I don't get it. Like, why do you acknowledge that a character has terrible neutral and then you say, okay, you have terrible neutral? Let's give you more recovery frames. Let's give you more of them because you have such a terrible neutral. Let's give you more recovery frame. It's crazy. So just yeah, I mean they acknowledge that the Awakening increased range is going to help. It does help, don't get me wrong, but it's not it's not a problem solver. And then in Reawakened state, the stun time the stun time of special flash attack introduced make it easier to maintain a distance and fight. This is not true. You still can't do shit after a fucking special flash attack. I don't know what they're smoking or what they thought they did to the move, but whatever they thought they did to the move didn't do anything. If they thought they did something to the move, that does something significant. So I don't know. So yeah, those are the major Uryu changes. I'm not happy with it, but I do appreciate that Ranked is out now, so I guess I'll just have to get used to it. This is gonna have to be the character I'm gonna have to play for the next 2 to 3 months.